Welcome to Ayur Times. Today we're exploring ancient wisdom for modern liver health, Ayurvedic principles for liver care. This ancient system, well, it offers some really practical insights, especially for our modern lives, giving a unique perspective on looking after your liver.
That's right. Ayurveda has focused on the liver for, well, thousands of years. It's really central. We'll dig into how these traditional ideas, diet, herbs, lifestyle stuff can support this vital organ,
Hmm.
help you understand its incredible role in, your overall well-being.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. When most people think liver, they probably picture the body's main detoxifier, right, the filter. But what's really fascinating here is how Ayurveda goes, well, deeper. It connects the liver to so much more than just filtering things out.
Exactly. In Ayurveda, the liver is seen as the main home, the seat of Pitta dosha. And Pitta, well, it governs all transformation and metabolism, your internal fire, basically. So the liver isn't just a filter, it's fundamentally involved in processing malas, toxins, metabolic waste from the blood. And beyond just cleaning, proper liver function is absolutely crucial for balanced digestion, absorbing nutrients, everything.
So it's not just about the physical processes, then it's more interconnected.
Oh, absolutely. Not just physical. The liver is also deeply related to our emotions, particularly things like anger, frustration, irritability. When the liver's out of balance, maybe too much pitta, these emotions can really become more pronounced, which brings up a really important question, for you listening. If it's so central, how do we even know when our liver might need a bit more support?
That's a critical point. What are some of those signs, the little whispers or maybe louder signals that our liver might be struggling a bit?
Well, there are definitely physical signs and mental emotional ones too. Physically, you might notice perhaps a yellowish tint to your skin or the whites of your eyes, jaundice, basically. Or maybe a persistent bitter taste in the mouth, especially when you wake up. Things like feeling excessively hot, sweating a lot more than usual, skin rashes, or even acne breakouts can also be indicators. Heat-related signs, often.
Okay. And on the emotional or mental side, how does that show up?
Yeah, mentally and emotionally, you might find yourself becoming much more irritable, like a shorter fuse than usual, maybe poor concentration, finding it hard to focus. Headaches, often around the temples, can be linked too. And disturbed sleep is a big one, particularly waking up between, say, 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's peak pitta time. These generally point towards excess pitta in the liver. Recognizing them early means you can use gently ways to bring things back into balance.
Right, so that awareness is really the first step. Now let's shift to something really fundamental in Ayurveda, the six tastes. How does something as basic as taste actually play into supporting our liver health? It's not just about flavor, is it?
No, it's much more about the energetic qualities. Ayurveda emphasizes these six tastes: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. For the liver, two tastes are particularly helpful: bitter and astringent. They're cooling and cleansing. Bitter tastes, think foods like dandelion, turmeric, bitter greens like kale or chicory. They are cooling and they actually stimulate bile flow, which is, super important for liver detox.
And astringent, what does that taste do?
Astringent tastes, you find those in things like beans, lentils, pomegranates, even green apples. They have a cooling and drying quality. They help reduce inflammation and kind of tone tissues, reducing that excess pitta heat. Sweet tastes are good too, but in moderation, and from natural sources like fruit and whole grains, they nourish. But it's also crucial to know what to limit. Salty, sour, and pungent taste like hot spices. Chilies, they can really aggravate pitta, especially if the liver is already feeling stressed.
That's a really useful framework. So practically speaking, how does this translate into building a liver-friendly diet day to day? What should we try to eat more of, and what should we maybe ease up on?
Okay, so to support your liver, you really want to favor those bitter greens we mentioned: kale, spinach, dandelion, collards. Load up on those. Sweet fruits are good: apples, pears, berries. Cooling greens like barley, basmati rice, and those detoxifying spices: turmeric, coriander, fennel are great additions. Ghee, clarified butter, is actually beneficial in moderation too.
hmm And what about the reduce or avoid list? What should we be mindful of cutting back?
Definitely. Number one is reducing or avoiding alcohol and caffeine. They just put a big load on the liver. Also, fried foods, really oily stuff, red meat, hard-aged cheeses. They're heavy and heating. Processed foods, things with lots of preservatives and artificial ingredients, not ideal. And those really hot spices, chili, cayenne, even too much black pepper, limit those if your pitta feels high or your liver needs support. Oh, and an interesting point from Ayurveda is about when you eat. Try making lunch your biggest meal. That's when your digestifier, your agni, is strongest. Easier on the liver later.
Right, that makes sense. Now, beyond diet, Are there specific herbs or maybe traditional Ayurvedic formulas known for being especially good for liver detox and rejuvenation?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Ayurveda has some real herbal powerhouses for the liver. Bhringraj is often called the king of herbs for liver health. It's known to be cooling, cleansing, and helps rejuvenate liver cells. You can take it internally or even use it in hair oils. Interesting connection there. Then there's kudki. It's a very potent bitter herb, really good for promoting bile flow, used traditionally for jaundice. It's strong stuff, though, so best used with guidance from a practitioner.
You mentioned turmeric earlier. It's everywhere these days. How does it fit specifically with liver care?
Turmeric is fantastic. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. It really helps protect liver cells from damage. For better absorption, especially for liver benefits, it's often recommended to mix it with a tiny bit of black pepper and some ghee or another healthy fat. Amla, or Indian gooseberry, is another great one. Super high in vitamin C, very rejuvenating for liver tissue. You find it in formulas like Triphala, which is a general digestive cleanser, and Chyawanprash, that herbal jam. And yeah, there are classic formulations like Aroja Vardini Bhati or the Blend Live 5-2. These combine several herbs synergistically for really comprehensive liver support.
So we've got diet, we've got herbs, but Ayurveda looks at the whole picture, right? What about our daily habits, our routines, or dietary? Are there specific daily practices that really help support the liver?
Absolutely. Dinacharya, those daily routines, are fundamental. It's about syncing up with nature's rhythms, like trying to wake up early, ideally before 6 a.m. That's kapha time, tends to be heavier, so rising before then helps avoid stagnation. Simple things. Tongue scraping first thing removes toxins your liver processed overnight. And drinking warm water, maybe with a squeeze of lemon, gently wakes up digestion and stimulates the liver.
Okay. And later in the day, any key routines?
Mid-morning can be a good time for some cooling pranayama breathing exercises like Shitali or Sitkari. They help calm Pitta fire. Light exercise is good too, like walking or gentle yoga. Gets circulation going without overheating. Then in the evening, try to eat dinner reasonably early, say before 7 p.m. if possible. Gives your digestion time before bed, less burden on the liver overnight. Self-massage, abhyanga, with cooling oils like coconut oil can be really soothing and beneficial. And crucially, getting good sleep. Aiming for bed by 10 p.m. supports the liver's natural detox cycle, which happens mostly while you sleep. The key thing here is consistency. You don't have to do everything, but sticking with even 2 or 3 of these practices regularly can make a real difference.
That's encouraging small steps consistently. Does the time of year, the seasons, also influence how we should approach liver care?
It definitely does. Ayurveda is big on seasonal alignment. Spring is really seen as the prime time for liver cleansing. Think about it, nature's renewing itself, shedding winter's heaviness. So bringing in more bitter greens, maybe doing a gentle cleanse, it just aligns with that natural energy, helps clear out any winter buildup.
Interesting. So spring for cleansing. What about the other seasons?
Well, summer is Pitta season, it's hot. So the focus shifts to cooling everything down, cooling foods, avoiding intense sun, managing irritability to prevent Pitta overload, protect the liver from excess heat. Autumn and winter then are more about nourishment, building strength, staying grounded, making sure the liver is supported as we might eat slightly heavier foods. It's really about, tuning into how the external environment affects our internal balance and adjusting our habits to keep the liver happy year-round.
This has been so helpful. Now, for someone listening who feels maybe ready for something a bit deeper, a more dedicated reset,
Yeah.
what about an Ayurvedic liver cleanse? Is that something people should consider? And importantly, how do you do it safely?
Yeah, a dedicated cleanse can be really beneficial, but safety and doing it properly are absolutely key. It usually happens in 3 phases. First, there's preparation, maybe 3 to 7 days. You simplify your diet, cut out the processed stuff, alcohol, caffeine, drink lots of water, start adding gentle bitter herbs, kind of easing into it.
Okay, prep first, then the main cleanse.
Right, the active cleanse phase, usually shorter, maybe 3 to 5 days, often involves eating a simple mono diet like kachari, that's just rice and mung beans, very easy to digest. And you take specific liver cleansing herbs like maybe kudki or neem under guidance, gentle yoga, rest, really supporting the process. And then critically, the rejuvenation phase, this is after the active cleanse, lasts maybe a week or more. You slowly reintroduce other foods carefully, and you take nourishing, building herbs or formulas like Chyawanprash or Amalaki to strengthen the liver tissue again. But it's really vital, only do a cleanse like this when you're feeling generally well. Spring is usually the best time. And always, always talk to a qualified Ayurvedic practitioner before starting anything intensive like this.
That guidance is really important, thank you. So bringing it all together for people living busy modern lives, how can we actually integrate this ancient wisdom? It can feel like a lot, How do we do it without getting totally overwhelmed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The key is truly balance, not chasing perfection. Start small. Seriously, just pick one thing. Maybe it's the warm lemon water in the morning. Maybe it's just consciously adding turmeric to your cooking a few times a week. That's it to start. Then, once that feels like a habit, maybe add something else. Build consistency with routines that genuinely fit your life. Regular meal times, a slightly earlier bedtime. Whatever feels manageable. Self-care practices that support the liver don't need to take hours.
So it's more about finding what clicks for you personally, being flexible, rather than trying to follow every rule perfectly.
Precisely. Even just implementing some of these things partially will benefit your liver. And what's encouraging is that modern science is actually backing up a lot of this ancient knowledge now, the anti-inflammatory effects of turmeric, the importance of bile flow. So you can really see it as combining the best of traditional wisdom with contemporary understanding for optimal health. Your liver is amazing. It will respond to even small positive steps.
That's a great way to look at it. So thinking about everything we've covered today, from how the liver handles emotions to the power of simple daily routines, what's one small, consistent change you could start with this week to give your own liver a bit more support? Just reflect on that. See what feels doable and right for you right now. We really hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and maybe some practical ideas for nurturing your liver health. If you enjoyed exploring this with us, please do consider subscribing to the Ayur Times channel. We share more wisdom and practical guidance regularly, and we genuinely love to hear from you. If you have thoughts or questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. We're always happy to help you explore these topics further.